So it's been a minute. I actually hadn't been looking at any of the YouTube stuff, and then I realised that the small port rebuild video actually went pretty well. So thanks to everyone that's watched that and left a comment or a like. I have been doing work, even though I haven't uploaded anything for a while. So we've gotten pretty stuck in to tearing down the 82. So the 4AGE is out. And we're just kind of cleaning everything up here, swapping the looms over. So I'm fully swapping in twin cam loom and everything to make it easy. And so we've actually pretty much done that whole job now. So the dash is partly apart, but it's going back together. So I've pulled the whole dash out, pulled everything out, swapped the whole EFI dash loom. So now you can see I've got the right ECU plugs and stuff down there and the EFI relays. Surprisingly enough, when I went to start doing this job, I thought I was going to have to pull the whole carpet out and swap in a fuel tank loom, but for some reason, bang, Carby Car has the fuel pump loom. So that just plugs straight in to the dash loom and we're good to go. I need to swap the tanks and put a fucking pump in it, obviously, but a lot less work than I thought I was going to have to do. So the dash is going to go back together next. And then what's up? We've got to clean the bay. I want to repaint these like crash bars. I was thinking about repainting the whole car, but I don't think I'm going to be fucked right now. I just want to get it going. So clean up the bay, make that nice. I need to swap all the arms, as you saw. So they're sitting over here. They're all painted and ready to go, but I need to put all the new poly bushings in them and then get them ready. So back's got to come up. Got to drop the tank, swap the lines, I think, as well, and then swap the rear brakes and swap all the rear arms. So after the dash is done, that's kind of pretty much all the wiring is done. And it's just mechanical shit from there. So it feels like I've kind of broken the back quite a bit, but we've still got to rebuild the 20 valve. So there'll probably be a whole other rebuilding video on that when I get around to it, but we're getting there. On the Seeker, the one we rebuilt, so I'm still driving it every day, still the daily, but it's fucking growing thin on me. So even though we did that whole rebuild, it's already leaking oil again. There it is, still living, but yeah, it's like leaking from the rear main, and had that whole fucking engine out. I'm not about to pull it, like the gearbox out, to do the rear main. What it was is, like, I think on the crank there was like scoring where it had been running on the ridge. Not scoring on the crank. When it was running on the ridge of the rear main, it's like dug a groove in the crank, so it's not sealing properly. So it's leaking out of that. I could probably fix it, just pull it out and put like a speedy sleeve on it or something and then redo it, but that's a lot of work for a car that, like, honestly, that car sounds like it's falling apart when I drive down the road. So it's growing a bit thin. I don't know how much longer I'm going to daily it, but I'll keep the car when I'm done with it, and I'll just, I don't know, have it as a spare, maybe fix it properly one day, or just take the motor and box out of them, have them as spares and sit them for another project. But yeah, so this is a bit of an update on how that shit's going. I don't know if I'm going to actually record any work right now, but I'll record something eventually and then I'll upload this. Who knows, maybe in another 6 months. So it's been 3 months since that last clip. Been slacking on filming because I've just been getting things done sometimes. Just done a bit of work. As you can see, control arms have all had their poly bushings chucked in and mounted up in the car. All the back ones as well. So all the control arms, all fresh bushings throughout. And then obviously rear disc conversion is all done. So I've got slotted and dimpled rotors front and back. They're not brand new, they came off the parts car that the motor came out of. Recycling, I guess. braided lines, front and back. Fuel tank. So that's the original carby tank, but we've put the fuel pump hanger in that. And then the difference is that this tank doesn't have like a swell pot to like stop fuel starvation, whereas the twin cam tank over there does. But the twin cam tank's full of rust. I'll try to chuck a photo up in this to show the rust that was in that tank. Because yeah, I mean, could have got it treated, but I'm impatient and I just want to kind of get the car going. So yep, tank's in, brakes are in, everything's in. Put the EFI fuel lines in, so fuel filters in, everything's kind of good to go. Need to order parts for that, and then not gonna do a full rebuild anymore because I can't be bothered. I'm just gonna refresh it and like, so new seals and gaskets, and send it, see what it's like. See if I can yeah, all the dash is back in apart from the glove box. Yep, so it's just waiting for, because I haven't put the engine wiring in yet. So once the engine wiring's all in, can button that up. But yeah, so home stretch, need to freshen motor up, get it back in, plug all the wires in. And don't know what I'm gonna do with the exhaust yet, but I'm gonna do full custom or run what I've kind of got. But yep, update, probably do another update in 6 months. Hey, I don't know where I got up to last time I filmed this. I think it was when I put the suspension in, the arms and all that sort of shit. So a bit more progress. So engine wiring is back in, spaghetti loom. I'm just using the old one that came out. I'm not bothering to do a new loom or anything like that yet. Maybe a future project. I just want to get it all back in and running and then do each bit by bit after that. So yep, that's all in. Wiring is all in. It's all plugged in into the ECU. We've started looking at the 20 valve. So I was going to rebuild it, not going to rebuild it anymore. So today I've just kind of hung it up on the forklift, degreased the fuck out of it to clean it up, gave it a bit of a wash. Got a whole bunch of new seals, so I got all the external like seals, gaskets, pump, timing belt, got all that kind of shit to freshen it up. Just popped the timing cover off. Doesn't look too great, not very clean, bit of sludge, but who cares? We're gonna fucking send it. It's not a daily, it's a drive every like once a month kind of car. So if it's not perfect, I don't really care. I just want to fucking drive the car, man. So yeah, I reckon probably next couple weeks we'll get this thing freshened up. All the new seals will be in it and we'll be putting it back into the car. So yeah, home stretch. We're getting there. Wish that I pulled this off and found it nice, all golden and perfect, but that's all right. I'm not surprised. So yeah, we're getting there. Hopefully a couple weeks. So it's December 23 right now. I've got Christmas holidays for work coming up, so I've got a couple weeks off. I've ordered pretty much all the parts I think I'm going to need. So the goal is to get it back in the car and hopefully first starts in that Christmas break, because I mean I'm not rebuilding it. I was going to do a full custom exhaust. I'm not doing that anymore either, and I'm using all the old ECU. So the plan is to put it all back in how it was, how it ran when it came out of the donor car. So the plan is to get it all in off the donor car shit, run it, see if it works. Probably get an O2, like a wideband put in it, just to kind of keep an eye on how that's running.
If the tune on the ECU is okay, well, if the motor's blowing a fuck ton of smoke, I'll pull it back out and I'll rebuild it and I'll do it right. If it's not blowing a ton of smoke and it's good, then the goal is to take the engine wiring back out and the ECU and probably put a Haltech in it. Do it all on a standalone, like a newer standalone, not that fucking mega squirt that is like 30 years old. So get it on a good ECU, or do like the full exhaust first. I don't really know, but the plan at the moment is to just get it going again. I miss driving the car. Yeah, I just want to fucking drive it. So yeah, home stretch. I don't know if I'll fucking upload this video now or when the engine's going in, but yeah, we're getting there. And sorry that I'm not documenting it better, but I don't know. I barely even kind of get the time to come down and work on it now. It's you try and set up a camera and film shit. It just takes too long. You don't do it. But yeah, we're getting there. Fucking soon we'll have throttle bodies revving to 8,000. Let's go. Another update. 20 valves on the stand. I don't know if I showed that in the last one. So not doing much to it actually. Gonna fucking send it and see what it's like. And if it's bad, then we'll rebuild it. But come out, I've just cleaned it up, just a ton of degreaser. It was pretty covered in like oil and just from sitting for years, but throttles are on. Might have to pull them off when they're going into the car because they might hit and it might make it hard, but everything's cleaned out. We flushed out all the block today, so ton of fucking muddy water came out of the block, which is always nice to see. New timing belt. Might be a risky decision, but the cam seals and the crank seal and the rear main actually look good. Like someone's replaced them recently. They still feel rubbery. So I've got new ones, but there's a good chance this is coming out anyway to get rebuilt. So I'm going to save the seals because they're probably going to be needed afterwards. But yeah, we're getting there. Painted the cover here, just letting that dry, matching that. But yeah, there's my tool, my tools and all that sort of shit. My workshop is on the back of a ute at the moment. But yeah, quick update. And yeah, update again soon, hopefully when it's all ready to go in. Another quick update. Don't know how long it's been since I last recorded one. I don't think it's been that long. But yeah, today's the day the engine's hopefully getting in the car. So this is the gearbox we're using. It's just a C52 out of an AE93, out of the parts car that I got the engine for the Seeker out of. So really haven't done much to it. I've been told, I have no idea the condition of this box, but I was told by the previous owner that it was perfect. So I just kind of did a quick clean up, put new seals in for the drive shafts, got the stub axles in it, just took off a couple of the brackets, painted them, cleaned it up. Nothing major being done to the box. I need to take this speedo cable out because the AE82 one is in one piece, not a split cable like that one. So that's all got to come out, but yeah, getting there. That should be ready to go on pretty soon. I'm doing everything really like on the cheap, honestly, for putting it back together at the moment, because I really don't know if that motor's any good. Like, I don't know if it's gonna have to come back out and get rebuilt, so I'm not wasting too much money right now. So I'm reusing flywheel and clutch that came off the car because they look fine. Don't need to waste money right now, so got everything kind of out about here. That's my pipe across filter. I'm a little bit worried about how that's going to actually fit in the bay, but we'll see how we go. But yeah, so engine will be coming off the stand in a minute, and we'll put the flywheel on, torque it up, torque down the harmonic balancer, clutch on, gearbox on, and then hopefully, if everything goes smoothly, we'll be putting it up into the car today. But yeah, sometimes things don't go to plan, so we'll just see what happens. Yeah. I think there's anything else. So that's the radiator I'm using. It's it's brand new out of a 112. I don't know how I've already managed to fucking damage some of the fins, but I guess I'm just talented. But yeah, so it's out of I bought it saying it's a 111 radiator for like the 11s for like a 20 valve motor, but apparently it's just the same as all the 112s in Australia. So I went into You Pull It, grabbed a 112 fan and fan shroud and just put the plug on the 82. So that should make that easy. Don't need to modify any shroud stuff. But yeah, what else? It's all a bit of a mess at the moment, but we're getting there. Currently on Christmas break for the year, so aim, I've got 2 weeks off, so the aim is to hopefully have this running in the next 2 weeks. So probably get a few video updates in the next 2 weeks. Fingers crossed it's all smiles when I film the next one. But yep, cheers. Quick tip for anyone doing this in Australia. So this little hose back here, between the water pipe and the back of the water pump, mine was like a balloon and fucked up, so I had to get a new one. Obviously in Australia, this is an Australian motor, so there's no like easy off-the-shelf part for that. However, there is an easy off-the-shelf part for it. VX Commodore LS1 radiator hose, upper radiator hose, exact same dimension. Bought that, cut a bit off of it to fit. Yeah. So if anyone's ever in a spot, Commodore hose will do the job. Quick update. So got the engine in. Super fucking easy. I love pulling and putting motors into 82s. Super easy to just pull them up from the bottom and get them all in. So engine's in the car, done a little bit of just like a few little things. But yeah, I'll probably come back tomorrow and start plugging all the wires in. And yeah, it's just pretty much home stretch. Some issues with the radiator we were going to fit. So it's an AE112 AE111 radiator. It's a bit bigger, it's a bit taller, a bit wider. So we have to drop it a little bit lower. So with the help of my dad, he's taken these mounts out and kind of extended them down. That one's coming down 5mm and the other one is coming down a bit further. That one's coming down 15mm. So yeah, just spot welds drilled out and he's just kind of hammered it out flat and he's going to move it down a bit. So yeah, getting there. Home stretch. See if it's running in 2 weeks. See if it actually runs when we get to turning the key. But yeah, not long. Pretty fucking sick. All right, cool. Another quick update. Following day from the last clips. All of the wiring has basically been put back in place and plugged in. Haven't tidied the loom up at all using the same loom that came out of the other car. So it's not the tidiest thing in the world, but I mean, I'm just kind of hoping that it works when I plug it all back in and try to run it, using the shitty old coil and stuff like that. So what hasn't been done yet, still need to figure out brake booster lines. I'm using these like heater lines, heater hose, heater core lines. So they're from like an AE111 kit for like radiator hoses. I've got the other top and bottom radiator hoses as well from that kit. They seem to fit all right. They're a bit long and they're a bit kinked a little bit, but they might be okay. We'll just have to see how it goes. Might cut them a bit shorter to try and pull some of this like kink here out of it, but it's not too bad. Really the only thing we've got to do is I'm gonna use, yeah, you can see where the workbench is. So I'm going to use one of these air intake temp sensors, which are common to like all the newer Toyotas. Like AE93s use them, like 101s, everything use them. This one, because it's used a lot of the original big port AE82 loom, it's using one of these really old air intake temp sensors where it has like the metal thread and stuff, and like those wires you can't really see on the camera, but like they're almost cut through. So the plan is to kind of just like pull that shielding back, cut that, and solder on that like new intake temp sensor, and then put a hole in the backing plate for the filter and just chuck it through the backing plate of the filter, and have it back behind the pipe across, and that should work well. I think I don't think there's gonna be any issues of it like being on metal and getting hot through the metal, because it's all plastic and stuff, and I'll put a bung through it and kind of like insulate it a bit, but that should all work. I test fitted the bracket with like the trumpets on and the pipe across. It's tight, but it fits. Like I'll be able to put the 100mm trumpets and the pipe across over it and it will fit. It rubs like the filter is like up against the clutch master, but that's not an issue. But it fits, so there's not going to be any issues with that. You have to give it a bit of a whack to get it down, but it does work. So if anyone ever is wondering what pipe across to get for an AE82, well, for the 100mm trumpets on a 4AGE C604D, that's the one I've got over here. I think it fits up to 125mm trumpets, but I've got 100mm trumpets in it. So yeah, that's the one you want. It's a tight fit, but it will fit. This is for right-hand drive cars. I think a left-hand drive car should be even easier, because like it's the brake master and the clutch that make it a bit of an issue, but it fits. So there's no issues. A few little things are annoying, like old wiring. So these boots are like split. So that's a TPS. I'm just going to electrical tape that up. But yeah, everything is plugged back in. There's one little kind of separate loom that I have to put back in. So this was, I don't know what this is for, but there is a little wire that plugs off this, and it was mounted to the strut brace, and then it went through the firewall and it goes to the ECU. So I'll put that back in. No fucking clue what it actually does, but I'll put it back in. Might notice the one mismatch injector plug, so that one broke, so we've soldered on a new one. Well, not soldered on, but got a new plug and fit the new plug on, so that's good. But yeah, getting there. Should hope so. Tomorrow's Christmas and then Boxing Day, so a couple days off. But then I reckon this will be like, we'll be turning the key by Friday. So that's in 5 days, like 2 to 3 days of actually doing any work. It's almost done. I just need Dad to kind of finish off what he's doing with the radiator supports. But we'll get the radiator supports in, radiator in, hoses on, coolant in it. I've got to put gearbox oil in it. But yeah, coolant, gearbox oil. I just put engine oil in it now. Just using some just like average Penrite mineral at the moment, just to see what it's like, because I don't know what the condition of the motor's like, whether it burns or not. So yeah, gearbox oil, coolant, got to put petrol in it, got to bleed the clutch, and yeah, it's good to turn on. So yeah, we're pretty stoked. I'll probably, like when we get to it, I'll probably set up the camera and film the first start just to see what it's like. Or to like, I mean, if it cranks and fucking turns on in the first crank or the first go and there's no gremlins and it works, it's going to be great. So I want to have that captured. If it doesn't happen, I probably won't fucking include that bit in the video, but we'll see how it goes. But yeah, cheers.